What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to take a look at my 5 favorite Tanto bladed folding knives. So, unfortunately, there always has to be a teaser, right? This is not in the top 5. However, this is absolutely very close, and it would be, I think, if I carried it normally. But this is the Cold Steel SR1 Lite. You could get the SR1 Lite or the full one. The SR1 Lite has, I think, was an HCR13 MOV steel. This is actually the knife that made me realize that HCR13 MOV isn't crappy if it's heat treated right. This one in cut tests and beat up tests did amazing, and held edge beyond any CRKT that I had ever had, and that was the only prior experience I had with it. And so yeah, this is a super big beefy knife. The reason that it didn't make the top 5 is principally, again, I don't carry it all the time. This is a car knife. I got this one on a fire sale for like $45. This is a perfect knife to leave in your car in case you need to puncture a hole in your tire. No, I'm just kidding. It can truly do anything. If you need to pry with this, just go look at Joe X's videos. He beat the crap out of this thing. And in the light version, and it's survived nearly everything. So yeah, it's got a decent edge if you just need to cut through something. You know what? It's got a sharp back spine if you need to start a fire or whatever. Leave a fire steel in your car. It's number 6, if you will, or first honorable mention. And again, that is the Cold Steel SR1 Lite. Entering into the actual top 5, let's jump into it. The first one is the Reate K2. I love this Tanto because it's kind of a more traditional style, Japanese style, where you kind of have the curve up here, and then it goes into your flat. And actually in a true Japanese, there's not even a sharp point there. It just kind of flows into it. But what I love that Reate did on this particular knife is they did a beautiful hollow ground here, and then they have that nice frontal part, which is fantastic. Oh God, there he goes again with his fantastic. So this one runs on bearings, which isn't my preference, and it's a flipper. So that's, if I carried the SR1 Lite more frequently, that would actually be in my top 5. But this one overall, I think, is a very worthy Tanto. And being basically this whole katana looking thing, I did want to get one of the ones that has the katana wrap looking. They were just all out. As things are, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. This one actually looked pretty badass though. So yeah, that is the Reate K2 in 5th place. And these aren't necessarily ordered, but they kind of are. So in position 4, we have the Cold Steel air-lite. This is a great, handy, super thin, relatively thin, I should say, but just really good EDC carry knife. Inexpensive. I want to say this one was like $72 or whatever at KnifeWorks. Very, very capable. It's made of AUS 10A steel. Nothing wrong with that. The 80-20.5s are coming out in that steel. It is a triad lockback. And so, it's going to be tough. G10's pretty tough stuff. It's just got a really good... this is the first one that I really fell in love with that had this really kind of wide, if you will, Tanto edge. It's not just... If you take a look at the edge bevel on this lower part here, on the flat, it's your typical bevel edge. But then you have this nice open up here. That is really, really a good thing. And it kind of set the table for my number 2 knife. So again... That is the Cold Steel air-lite Tanto. They also do sell a drop point. In position number 3, we have the George VECP Value Engineering Change Proposal. This knife is great. This is based on the Rock Guy, I believe. Maybe not. The custom. But when I saw it in Tanto version, I was like, oh yeah, this is absolutely... just gorgeous. This particular one it's been bronze anodized and it has DLC coating on it. This runs on phosphobronze washers, but it has action that is just so smooth. This one's actually like a Chris Reeve that you've held for 10 years. Just really, really good. So smooth. Very pleasing. It's got a great angle on that one too. So this one's a little bit more aggressive if you need actual piercing. It's got a good switch to go with it on the top there. And like I said, the comfort in hand of George, yeah, I will actually go ahead and I have done a full review on a VECP. I'll put that up there. But yeah, that would be my number 3 favorite Tanto that I have. Number 2, and the reason that I could not make this video for over 1 year is because I had been seeking one of these. This is the Chris Reeve knives Inkosi with the Tanto blade, or Tanto blade. Yeah, this has been a chase for me for over a year, and I kind of wanted to figure out, do I like the Sebenza, do I like the Inkosi? For me, I definitely am an Inkosi fan for, a few different reasons. Basically, the double lugs by default. I know that they do now have Sebenzas with double lugs, but I do like just having that ability to, if I need to switch left-handed and open that thing, I can't on my, my base Sebenzas. This one I got, of course, was with the micarta. And yeah, so that was a double plus bonus on that one. But yeah, again, kind of going back to that, the air-lite, and I don't know which came first, it was, I don't know, maybe Chris Reeve, but I really, really like that. So even though this is my number 2, it's only because I just recently got this. It could end up being my number 1. I haven't done a review on this knife. It's going to be a little bit of a while before I actually do a review on this particular knife. But this has everything marvelous about Chris Reeve's knives, and oh yeah, comfortable in every position, even with those double choils. The Inkosi, for me, I do like better than the Sebenza. So that would be the Chris Reeve Tanto Inkosi. And then number 1, for just so many reasons, not the least of which it's the Tanto that I've used by far the most. This is the Spyderco BladeHQ Tanto edition. This is the best of everything. It has fidgetability. It is on washers, it uses the compression lock, so you have your marvelous fidgetability, or just multiple deployments, shall we call it. Works just fine left-handed too. You can move your pocket clip. Of course, there is a bias for returning the knife. It's a little bit tougher left-handed, but it has all of that. And the way that they did this blade is again great. They have a nice hollow here, a nice flat there. What I love is that they went with a little bit of a rounding. It is not a straight line there. And so where I use this all the time, and tell me you haven't used knives for this, or wish you had a knife that would do this perfectly, is when you have those annoying stickers that have to go in for park passes and parking passes and all those things on your car windows in the little lower left-hand corner, you need to scrape that crap off. This is the blade that does it every time perfectly, because it has that rounding. It's really, really good. So that's an actual use. I've had to use this to pierce aluminum and other things like that. It's actually blunted this tip a fair bit, but never even broken. And I have just, like I said, this is the knife I go to every single time when I need to actually puncture something thick metal-wise, like go through a license plate or something like that. So yeah, this knife is by far and away for me my favorite Tanto blade, and that is the Spyderco PM2. I don't even think I said PM2, but it is the BladeHQ special or exclusive edition. So let's go ahead and just reiterate those. In first place, I have the Spyderco PM2 Tanto. Then we go to the Chris Reeve Inkosi Tanto, large Inkosi. Less George VECP. Tough to beat that. The Cold Steel air-lite. Really, really good. And then I'm going to throw a nod to the this traditional style, if you will, of Tanto from Reate, and that's the K2, and we won't forget about our honorable mention over there. So, the one thing I will say about Tantos is they have specific purpose and uses, and so these are knives that I actually do get use out of, because, your regular drop points and the like that have rounded bellies just don't meet the needs of some of these, especially for piercing. And if you take a look, basically washers. This is the only one that has, bearings and flipper, thumb stud deployment, thumb stud deployment, thumb stud deployment, thumb hole deployment, and thumb stud deployment. So that's a kind of a common thing that you're going to see with Tantos. I think a good usable working Tanto, it can be both beautiful in the case of like the Les George and the Chris Reeve. Those are just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous knives, very functional and usable. And like I said, don't overlook the Tanto. This might give you some ideas of Tantos that you might like. Hope this was of use or of interest. If so, like and subscribe, and have a great day. Take care now. What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to talk about my 5 favorite Tanto knives, folding knives specifically. I actually don't have any fixed blades that are Tantos. Sorry, we'll start that again.